Welcome, everybody. Yeah, can't guarantee skipping, but we'll try to keep it entertaining here as we bring you home for the day. I think there's one more session after this one, so home stretch, guys, but I really appreciate the audience here. So this will be really interesting. We've heard from a ton of great brands throughout our time here, but we have some folks here that are part of the property development and property ownership groups. And so we're going to talk about driving footfall, right, in the digital age. And obviously in-store conversions are still a huge component of sales and will be. I was just at Publicis Sapient on Sunday, and they had some research that was saying, even 2028, there's still going to be 70% of purchases are made in an in-store location. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So to kick things off, Dan Sterling with Optimove. I lead e-commerce and retail. Optimove is a customer-led marketing platform. We use, I'll use the buzzword AI, but we use AI in a unique way to map customer campaigns and journeys that helps automate and optimize the results and lead to increased personalization. So that's me. I'll let each person up here introduce themselves. Stephanie, you want to start?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Fink. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing Partnerships and Events here for the related companies, specifically at Hudson Yards and Uptown at Columbus Circle. I have opened up all of our mixed-use properties. I've worked with and for REITs in the past. My career started downtown at the South Street Seaport, working for a company that recently at that time had gotten bought out by GGP, the Routes company. So here I am. I love what I do. I love my team. It takes a team to do what we do, and hope you get to spend some time here at Hudson Yards today.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Sterling. I am not related to Dan.
Just to clarify that. Distant cousin, maybe.
Yeah, right. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Simon Property Group. Simon is the largest owner of shopping centers in the country. We own a very strong portfolio of high-end shopping malls and premium outlets. I've been in the CMO role for 6 months, but I've been in the industry for 25 years, and I'm actually a boomerang employee to Simon. So I left for the 3 years during COVID. I had been with the company 7 years, left for 3 years, did a stint in consumer products, and now I'm back and really excited to be back on the team. Retail real estate is definitely where my heart is because I've been doing it for a very long time. And I also love my team and love what I do. I do think that's kind of part of being in this industry. You really, really love it if you're in it. And I'm very lucky to work with Enna. She and I have worked together for many, many years, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Enna Allen. I am Senior Vice President of Marketing, also at Simon with Lee. Have been in this industry for a long time, have actually worked on Seaport for a different company that wasn't Rouse or GGP, but also love this industry, and there's certainly people who are passionate about it tend to stay in it. The last panel talked about liking the people that you work with. And I will say this is the third time that Lee and I have worked together. And so clearly we like each other and we keep finding reasons to come together and work together. So it does make a difference.
Excellent. Well, great group we have here. And, again, we're talking about driving footfall in a very digital age that we're in. Optimove actually did a holiday survey ahead of holiday for 2023 and found that more than 50%, about 55% of consumers were doing a combination of online and in-store. So we're going to dive into some of those topics and take some questions at the end from the group. But, just first off, what tactics do you see working in terms of driving footfall right now? We'll go ahead and start with the Simon folks.
Sure. There's so many tactics that are working, but the one thing that we want to focus on today is programming, and that's really eventing in our space. You just really can't beat in real life experiences. So we've been very focused on different types of eventing, whether it's national event tours, regional events, local events. We really try to do a mix. And one of the ones we're most proud of, I don't know if we have the video to share or not.
I think
we
so.
do.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we cue it up?
Cue the video if we have
National Outlet Shopping Day initiative that has been, I guess it's going into its third year this year. So we'd love to show that.
And very similar to what the woman from Uggs was talking about today, right? So National Ugg Day is the first day of fall. We also took an opportunity to create our own holiday, and this is our interpretation of that.
Today's the day for you. It's National Outlet Shopping Day. Last weekend, Orlando Premium Outlets brought fun and savings together during one fantastic event.
National Outlet Shopping Days. Stores are busy at the Rio Grande Valley Premium Outlets in Mercedes.
June 10th and 11th, we have our biggest savings event of the year, which is National Outlet Shopping Day. This is our second year doing it. We are so excited to be offering even better discounts.
Tell me about this weekend, how great it's going to be.
We're really excited. National Outlet Shopping Day is an event that's happening at over 90 properties across the United States.
Awesome. Looks like some really measurable results. that you
Yeah,
guys got from that.
exactly. So yeah, this is kind of a win-win all around. Like, fun and festivity. What shopper doesn't like to go and, experience entertainment, get the best deals of the year? From the retailer perspective, it's also a win-win. We're driving traffic in the stores, really powerful deals. We've got giveaways. It's, middle of June, second week in June, not necessarily a time that the stores would be at their peak capacity, and we brought them to their peak capacity. So really proud of this event. It's one we want to continue expanding and building on. And then in addition, we're always doing all sorts of activities in the properties. So, think about the seasonality of our business. It might be the tree lighting to bring the community together. It might be a big Santa's Arrival event. It might be a fashion show over back to school. So really, we want to make sure our properties are where the action is.
The team at Target earlier today used the phrase, the drumbeat of newness. And that's what we try and do too. I mean, I think there's a lot of similarities between what the retailers are doing, whether their shops are located in our shopping centers or whether they're street level, regardless, right? We're all trying to create a sense of excitement, newness, fun, and interactivity within our environments.
Right.
Yeah,
Stephanie?
and I would second that. Programming is super important to us. How we choose our programming and the partners that we work with is also rooted in research. Research is incredibly important to us. It helps us understand and know who our demographic is, how to grow our database, how to get people into our shops and converting. And with that, we create programs that really benefit the folks who frequent and don't frequent Hudson Yards. And particularly, Hudson Yards is an indoor-outdoor shopping experience whereby we have a grand plaza out right outside the shops, and we leverage that as much as we possibly can during the
When
months.
it's not 19 degrees.
Exactly.
Right?
That we can. We have a 6-month program called Backyard at Hudson Yards, and it's really to drive community, create neighborhood experiences, and offer opportunities for our retailers, our restaurateurs to activate outside their store, driving traffic inside their store from a conversion perspective, but also to provide an opportunity for our residents in the neighborhood, our office workers in all of our buildings here. And in addition to that, we create rewards programs and loyalty programs that have really, really moved the needle in terms of conversion for us. And that was born out of COVID, but has been so successful for us from a marketing perspective, from a conversion perspective, that we have continued it. And then lastly, inside the shops, similarly to National Outlet Day, at the right after Black Friday, there's a week in December that sales generally dip before they spike back up. And for us, it's an opportunity as it relates to people are looking online for what they want to buy, their family, their friends, and whatnot. But it helps us. It's a sip and shop event where we partner with champagne companies and we partner with music groups, and we have the opportunity to activate inside the stores to get people in and shopping and staying an entire evening so that they either buy that evening or they'll come back, every street corner in New York is our competition, a little bit different from regional shopping centers and suburban shopping centers. And so it's really important to make sure that we're pulling audience back, particularly during holiday, where 30% of sales are made within the retailers.
Right, getting them right over here versus anywhere else. Yeah. So good segue with the online. So consumers are, as we talked about before, freely migrating between kind of the online and the in-store. So what do you see either your companies or some of the retailers you work with are doing to encourage that online consumer to actually come in?
We are doing a lot. The one example that I can, share with you is something called Simon Search, and we learned from consumer research and consumer insight during COVID that consumers, wanted the ability to search their shopping centers just like they've searched their online merchandise. So we launched a program that allows a customer to go online and let's say you're the mother, speaking from experience, of a teenage girl who tells you on a Saturday that she needs a dress for that night, and it has to be black, and it has to be short, and it has to be size 4, and you need it tonight. So Simon Search allows a customer to be able to either use the app or our website or our interactive in-mall directories to put in your search terms. I'm looking for a dress, it's got to be this length, this material, and it serves me up a list of stores that have that dress in stock and available right here, right now at my local shopping center. And so for us, that was an opportunity to take the online experience of that instant, immediate need and gratification of finding something very specific, but allowing the customer to be able to pick it up in store, get it today, go try it on, touch, try, feel it, buy it, and be able to take it home with you. So we're seeing a lot of adoption from our retailers, right? Retailers all want to be on the program, which we're happy to work with them on. We've got 70 plus national retailers that are engaged in it. We've got over 2 million searches a month that are happening from consumers, and we've got millions of products that are now available with real-time confirmed inventory at the local level.
Yeah, and what's cool about that, I would think for the consumer, rather than searching like an individual retailer and only seeing what they have, you're basically maximizing the whole network, which is cool. Yeah. That's a great example. Stephanie?
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, so yes to all of that, and SEO overall and SEM is super important, right? And I think in addition to that, utilizing social media and digital online as it relates to gift guides and targeting the right audience with the right product messaging is super important. So when you are, peaks and valleys of retail, Valentine's Day is next, right? Show them exactly what they can get here. Don't just say gifts for all, right? Be pointed in your messaging and target your audience so that way less friction is what everybody wants in their life these days, right? Everyone has a plate that runneth over times 10, right? And between your personal and professional lives, it's a lot to juggle and it's a lot to deal. People want to get to the end line as fast as they possibly can, and providing them the right messaging to the right audience is incredibly important from a traffic and conversion perspective in store.
And I can just reiterate, we have so many different audiences that we're speaking to as shopping centers, right? From your kind of mass, mom's audience to Gen Z to luxury shoppers to tourists, multicultural audiences. Like there's just so many different dynamics at play. And it's really, really important that we have that targeting down, whether it's through social media, whether it's through email, that we're serving up content that is going to be relevant for each of those audiences.
And finding the appropriate partners that resonate and connect with those audiences. So for our mom audience, as an example, we worked for years, and we still do, with Disney. And we, work with the Disney team to develop content for what we call play dates that happen at hundreds of our properties on a monthly basis. We have play areas that are Disney play zones that are branded with their IP, but that's a brand that resonates with mom, that makes a difference for her and her family and her children, and therefore she's more likely to engage with us, whether it's through virtual online playdates or in-person events, but it's a way for us to connect with that audience based on specific partnerships.
That's awesome. Yeah, with so many different messages too, and all the channels where you could reach the consumer, how do you guys manage that in terms of having it sync across the different channels and have the messaging consistent also with what they might see when they arrive on location, but specifically for the digital part to drive that footfall? How do you guys manage that?
Go ahead.
I don't think anything has changed for years and years and years and years, right? You still need to hit a consumer more than 7 times for them to either remember or remotely think about what they saw the last 6 times prior, right? So talking to them over and over and over again on the different channels in the right way is super important, right? Like our voice on our social channels are very different than our voice in our e-blast to our consumer audience, which is different than our voice in our e-blast to our office audience, and may even differ than our messaging to those who like to experience here up at Edge or what have you. So saying the same things in different ways to different people is super important, because what may resonate with you may not resonate with me, and hitting them over and over and over on multiple channels, that's why omni-channel is so important today, right? The omni-channel experience, from online to offline to in-store to social to mobile, what have you, it's all of it counts, and all of it is necessary to play in the space of getting people inside your store and transacting.
Right. And when you talk about the differences, though, you're really optimizing for each one of those mediums.
Every single one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would say too, it's about the right message, right location to reach the audience that you're, going after. So I agree with all of that. I think from an operational standpoint, like, we always want to make sure, though, like, we're following brand guidelines and all the content that we're putting out there is vetted by the right people. One thing that's challenging about our organization is that we're very large, right? We're coordinating with 200 properties and trying to make sure that they maintain brand standards and try to make sure that they're communicating to each of these audiences in a consistent way. So we do have, teams in place at the corporate level to help review content to make sure that it's in line with our standards.
Right, makes sense.
But we're also open to reaching the target where they are. So as an example, TikTok is a new arena for us, and we played in that space over holiday. So that was new for us, and that was utilizing content created by folks that aren't on our team, that are creating organic content in our properties. But we have to loosen the reins, and we have in some respects, to be able to take that content and to activate it and use it in a way that makes sense for the audience that we're trying to reach. Because if that's where they are, that's the content they're looking for.
And just to add on to that, I think choosing the right programming partners to help tell that story with the right message to their audience is just as important as utilizing all of our own channels for a full-on omni-channel communication and experience too. So all of for example, for our Pride programming, we partner with Pride Live, who is down on Christopher Street and is the main nonprofit organization behind Stonewall Day. And utilizing them as an opportunity, and vice versa, us as an opportunity for them, has really opened up our channels with the LGBTQ+ audience and be able to talk to them in a meaningful way, which has really, during Pride Month, increased foot traffic, increased conversion. Stores have seen certain products fly off the shelves. And so I think, from going back to the first question as it relates to programming or I think the answer was programming and how it's so important to drive traffic, working with the right program partners to extend your messaging is just as important.
Amazing. Awesome. So now moving from the digital to the actual physical spaces, how have you seen the in-store experience change? And I know obviously we saw a lot of the things you guys are doing, like with Simon as a whole in the video, but in terms of the actual in-store experience with some of your retailers, how have you seen that change?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about live, work, play, stay, shop is our mantra. So, we own properties in many different markets, and we are evolving those properties to meet the needs of the customers that are in that market. So there's no one size fits all. It's really understanding the dynamics of the trade area, what does the market need, and, evolving our assets to meet those needs. So we've done all sorts of different things. There's, residential and hotels being added to properties. There is fitness centers being added to properties. There's experiential tenants like Museum of Ice Cream and Meow Wolf. So we're really evolving past the just, basic fashion and beauty, which of course that in and of itself continues to evolve, get better. But also like what else can we add to the experience? Dining. Like dining is huge and a huge percentage of our business at many of our properties. But it really comes down to understanding like what does that market need and making sure that we evolve the real estate accordingly.
And so while we're evolving the real estate, like Simon, like Related is, and creating these mixed use destinations, the retailers are also doing their fair share of the heavy lift. So if you look at, excellent examples of retailers who are really upping the game, I mean, they're ones that you would expect. It's the Apples of the world. You walk in there, your level of service is second to none. You have the ability to take classes, to learn from experts, to get your product serviced at the Genius Bar, to participate in a video making experience. Aritzia downstairs, I mean, like they are so good at what they do. If you walk into their changing area, I mean, that is a fitting room that is second to none. Big mirrors, big spaces, and it's sort of more communal because you can come out and take a look at yourself and get your colleague or someone standing in the dressing room next to you to tell you how great it looks. Their stores are all designed with a very specific local element, whether it's the art or the even the merchandise mix, the music. Someone here was from Sirius earlier. I mean, they're creating and curating a music mix that is unique. A lot of their locations, this one doesn't have it, but they have cafes. And so particularly in the Canadian stores where the brand started, you make a purchase, they hand you a token and say, thanks for shopping at Aritzia today, go have a coffee or a cocktail. And, and there's a whole bar where you can do that. So retailers are really upping the ante on creating an experience that makes you want to shop in store.
And unique to like a region or a location too, versus like before it was more cookie cutter, right? The same store over and over. But and you went right into my next question, was finding out some of the names. So you mentioned Aritzia, Apple, and that. Stephanie, how about you? How first off, how have you seen the in-store experience change in your view? And then if you want to name drop some of the retailers who you feel are doing it right, I think it's always cool to have some of those examples.
Sure. So for anyone in the industry, if you haven't read the new Fast Company article that dropped maybe a week or a week and a half ago, the title is Brick and Mortar Retail is Back and it's Gimmick Free. And I think that is a testament to everything that was just said, right? I think that retailers are upping their game. They're incorporating F&B into their service. Downstairs at Watches of Switzerland, there's a bar in the middle of the space, in the middle of the retail space. You can sip cognac, you can have champagne, you can have whatever it may be, and it's all about upping the experience. Even big box retailers that generally aren't in New York and around for years and years and years, like Orvis, you can go in now, and if you want to buy your fishing equipment, you can actually test the fishing equipment in a pond, in the back of the store, in somewhere in middle America, and have a phenomenal experience, and now you're a fisherman and you didn't even know, right? So I think the opportunity of incorporating F&B, the opportunity of incorporating service elements, upping your clienteling game, expanding the books of business, all through tech services. How is your AG jeans down on level 2 and across the United States overall? They've done a phenomenal job of clienteling, and it's a jean store, right? You're going in there to buy jeans, and every time they drop a new color shade, wash, fit, whatever it may be, hey Stephanie, we got these in. You want to come down and try them out? Should I run them up to your office so you can try them on real quick? We unfortunately are working, the 24/7s and finding that work-life balance, and having a brand say, let me run it up to your office is huge for me. I'm going to buy those jeans.
Yeah, that's amazing level of personalization, and that's something you're not going to get that from the online experience. So that's awesome. So quick bonus round question, and then we'll get to any questions from the audience for the panelists here. So obviously you said, brick and mortar is back, and that we're in this post-COVID environment, right, where it really is. We've probably seen the return.
For the
of
record, I don't think it ever left, but that's
right.
okay.
Yeah. So maybe not, right? It was always a thing, right? So, but what are, if anything, as you look at like 2024, what are some of the challenges maybe in breaking the online barrier, getting more people in? Because there's obviously been a lot of successes, the experiences you talked about, but what, if any, do you guys feel are like the top challenges?
I mean, I think for us, from a marketing perspective, it's just getting people's attention. We are inundated with messaging in every direction, whether it's online, on my phone, walking through Times Square, walking through the mall, seeing the signage. It's constant. So what do you do? How do you do it differently in a way that resonates, that catches your eye, and that makes you remember what you saw with a call to action? Like, we want people to actually do something to motivate them to get in store and to make the purchase. So I think keeping and getting attention is going to be a challenge for all of us.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I'll just add, you look at a market like Las Vegas, right? There's so much going on. I went the week after Christmas, and it's like content overload and just trying to figure out, well, I'm here. Where should I go? What should I do? Was not an easy task. And it's how do you then make sure that, we have 4 properties in Vegas that you're standing out, and each property is very distinctive. So how do you get the message out in a different way about each property and make sure that you're reaching, the audience that comes in, which, by the way, changes every single weekend, right? So talk about a challenging market.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, grabbing that attention, being at the right places at the right times, I think is critically important. But I think, as you can see here at Hudson Yards, and I see the same thing in our properties, we're getting the traffic. It's Wednesday in the middle of the day. We couldn't find a table to have a quick pre-meeting, right? So it's the people are coming, which is good. So I like to think that we're all getting through.
Got it.
Yeah, and from my end, overstimulation is just across the board. When is it going to drop a little, or everyone to be able to take a minute, a beat, a breath, whatever it may be. But I look at online as a stimulator for in-store, and I often find myself, I'm in the business of brick and mortar, right? My job is to drive traffic and bring people here and convert, right? But I even find myself putting 10 things in a basket and leaving it there for 2 weeks and then going to the store and buying it. So I don't think that brick and mortar has necessarily lost its positioning. I think the retailers are getting smarter. I think the REITs and the destination locations are getting smarter. And I think it's about ease and comfort of being able to check a lot of boxes off in one place in order to make your life a little bit more simplified.
Got it. Great. Awesome thoughts there. Let's hear from the crowd here. We have some questions for our panelists.
Around the Simon search, which I think is really, really smart. I think about going to the store. You don't want to go, if you're looking for something specific, you don't want to go and waste your time if they don't have it. But is there any challenge with trying to, do people have the recognition with Simon and Simon Search and the Simon Mall, or do they know the name of the mall, or how do you get that awareness out, and do you leverage the brands in the mall to help you do that at all?
So we firmly believe that consumers shop their local center. They are tied true to the local mall. So if you're in the New York area, it's Roosevelt Field, or it's Westchester, it's Woodbury Common. That's your affinity is to that. So we don't really market Simon as sort of the headline on that. It's really focused on the individual center. And while it is called Simon Search, it is only found on the center's website. So you actually need to be at Roosevelt Field, knowing that you're looking for directions to get to the center, or looking for a list of stores to access Simon Search, or you need to be on center where we have interactive directories where you can actually use it live, or you need to be on the app. And the app, there isn't no sort of a national page, you're in the individual center. So it is tied directly to the individual property.
And I'm going to be using it to find your red pants at the Westchester. Actually, I think we don't have that feature live yet, but we're working on some features where you can take the picture. And yeah,
that's Simon Search 2.0 coming soon.
Be on the sidewalk, snapping pics of a good outfit. Yeah, great.
Well, thank you, Enna, Stephanie, Lee, Dan. Appreciate it.